Hello there folks, welcome back to the Chap's Guide. My name is Ash and I am your host on this journey through men's style, self-development and personal grooming. Now today it's my pleasure to answer a query which has been sent in by a viewer. And the person writing to me is somebody called Frank, and this is his question. You may find this useful, particularly if you're perhaps somebody of a slightly younger age, because Frank says, I would love to get your advice on styling for the younger generation who still want to dress like a chap. What would your advice be for a 28-year-old man who has the same hairstyle as you? I live in Belgium and I have the feeling most younger people dress differently to our British counterparts. So although I want a chap style, I also don't want to look too strange from my generation. Well, Frank, it's a great question. And yeah, you answer something which I'm sure many people may encounter as they go through life. Because, let's be honest, when you maybe reach the age of 35, it becomes a lot easier, maybe mentally and societally, to wear maybe a tweed jacket or a navy blazer in daily life. Whereas when you're maybe lower than the age of 35, this may seem very much outside the parameters of what people are wearing in normal everyday society right now. So you may find it a little challenging to pull it off. However, you don't want to be seen to be eccentric. You don't want to alienate yourself from the other people of your same generation. You want to be seen as the best dressed man in the room, or certainly known as somebody who knows how to dress well. Where do you find that little balance? I can give you some advice. The first thing I would say, and you mentioned in your correspondence, you live in Belgium and you have the feeling that younger people dress differently in Belgium to their British counterparts. Absolutely not, I can tell you now. I think this is endemic to the whole world. People of a younger generation are very much dressing for comfort and fashion rather than timeless style. I lived in Belgium for 2 years actually, in the 1990s. I lived in a city called Mons when I was working in your lovely country, and I would say it bears many similarities to the UK. Obviously it's a very close European country to the UK, so don't think people here in my country, in the UK, are stylish. They are not. Even though the UK has this reputation for being a bit more sartorial than other countries, by and large, when I look at the younger generation, it isn't in evidence. So don't think you're at a disadvantage. Absolutely not. It's the same everywhere. People, I think, today are driven in the way that they dress by social media, by influencers, by pop stars, by media of all different kinds. And as people in these roles, sports stars, pop stars, they are not dressing to make a good impression. They are dressing generally for comfort. In many cases they're being sponsored to wear the clothes that they wear, or certainly influenced by big companies to do so. So when they're wearing a branded pair of shoes, they're doing it for commercial purposes, or if it's a sports star, because those shoes are appropriate to their environment. If you're undertaking dynamic activity all the time, running, you wear a running shoe. Now, if you don't go running on a daily basis, or you don't run for your job, why do so many people wear running shoes, training shoes in daily life? It's because they've been influenced by social media and these celebrities. So yes, we're all up against that. However, my response is, you don't have to alienate yourself. You don't have to look like a slightly eccentric individual. All you have to do is to turn up, and I use this expression a lot, turn up your style volume just by one click at a time. So let's talk about the way that you may habitually dress. And I made a little list here of how we could look at this. So as a younger gentleman, if you just want to turn yourself up one click, let's talk about your clothing. Let's talk about your shoes. Right, so most young people today wear sports shoes of some kind, a branded sports shoe. And believe me, I've got a young son and he is what he refers to as a sneakerhead. And he can tell you when the latest shoes are being released. They enter raffles to buy them. They can sell at much, much higher than retail price. It has become almost remarkable how these simply made, low quality pieces of footwear can attract such a messianic sort of love for people to buy them and own them and trade them and store them away in a cabinet and never wear them. I find it really unusual. However, if you're a young gentleman and you're a training shoe wearer, the way to turn up your volume one click, instead of wearing training shoes, wear desert boots or a pair of chukka boots. They are smart, but still a utility item. They're a pair of boots, shoes even, really, a chukka boot. It's that combo between a shoe and a boot that you can wear in daily activity, but it's also a little bit smarter. It's almost covert smartness, isn't it? It's a step in the right direction. Now, if you want to go a bit further, if you want to turn it up 2 clicks, you can always wear a pair of brogues. They don't look too shiny. They're not going to stand out in a crowd, but they are a signal that you're investing in something a little bit better, a little bit more classy, that's going to get better as time passes. Remember, a good quality leather brogue will be with you for a decade. It can be repaired. It is far more sustainable if you're thinking about that as regards to the world's resources. And don't forget, it's also not going to cost you any more than those trainers, which are made of low-grade leather, probably made in a sweatshop somewhere on the far-flung side of the planet, and they're generally glued together. They're not stitched. If you wore them consistently, it would probably last no more than 12 months, and you'd have to throw them away. They'd go into landfill. Whereas your chukka boot, if it's Goodyear welted, it'll last you for 10 years. It can be repaired when the sole wears out. You've got a product which will, be with you for a long time. Definitely 1 click up the scale. When it comes to your trousers, right, your slacks, I favour chinos. I don't tend to wear jeans so much, but I accept that if you're under 35, jeans are probably going to be, a perennial item in your wardrobe. But think about the jeans that you're buying. All right, don't just go for the baggy fashion brands which hang around the back of your knees. Go for a pair of jeans which are, first of all, dark in colour, right? So these lighter coloured stonewashed jeans with, holes in them, okay, they may be very fashionable. They're not going to survive many washes. They're not going to last very long. But if you buy a dark shade of navy blue, perhaps, in your jeans, it's going to look more classy. It's going to look something which you can certainly wear in a variety of situations. It's not solely streetwear. And the other thing you can do, which will make the biggest of difference, get it tailored to fit you properly. All right, if it's a bit too long, a bit too short, the leg needs a taper. If you want to take it in a bit around the hips, take it to a tailor or a seamstress and get it adjusted so that it fits your body shape perfectly. Treat it as if your jeans were a good pair of trousers, because in many cases you'll have invested quite a lot of money in those jeans. So treat them in the way that you would if they were a pair of slacks, and you will definitely look better and find them more wearable. And if you're really ready to step apart from the herd, try something else, maybe a pair of chinos. They're not formal as such, but because they're made of cotton, they're a little bit more comfortable. They're available in a wide range of colours, and personally, they are my casual trouser of choice. I stopped wearing jeans a few years ago because I simply prefer chinos as my daily trouser. So it doesn't have to be jeans. It certainly doesn't have to be track trousers. All you've got to do, 1 click of the volume scale on the style count, improve what you're already wearing into something which is a little more stylish. Shirts, all right, I'm wearing a t-shirt now. My volume scale is turned down rather low because I'm just at home, I'm relaxing. I don't need to turn that volume knob up a click. So if I was going out and I wanted to turn it up, all I would do, I would take my t-shirt off, substitute it for a shirt with a collar, maybe a button button-down collar shirt. This is the natural progression from a t-shirt. Put the t-shirt to one side, put a button-down collar shirt on, maybe a polo shirt, and you're moving up incrementally without even people noticing. You will become a bit more smart. It's covert smartness, one click at a time. That's what you do with your shirts. And when you're casually loafing around the house on a Sunday, such as I am now, a t-shirt is fine. Let's talk about your jackets. Now, for me, if I was going out into a social situation right now, autumn, I'd be reaching for a tweed jacket, maybe a blazer of some kind. However, I appreciate, as a younger person, that's probably a leap too far. What you need to do is find a middle ground. Just one click. For me, that would be a Harrington jacket. It's still classically elegant, seen on the movie icons of the past, however, very acceptable in the modern era. And if a Harrington jacket's not for you, try a bomber jacket. Equally stylish, equally a step up in the smartness angle. Put away those shirt jackets, the shackets, put a Harrington jacket on. Put a bomber jacket on of some kind, maybe even something made of leather. You will be moving up the scale, and without even noticing, you've become a smarter chap. Hat. You mentioned to me that you were a person who sports this wonderful natural hairstyle which we've been blessed with. So a hat may be an option. Obviously everybody in the world wears a baseball cap in this day and age. You don't have to. Flat cap or a newsboy cap. Maybe if you're a younger guy, a newsboy cap, a little bit more cool and trendy. Thanks Peaky Blinders for that. But a really viable alternative which is more functional, keeps your head warmer, and is absolutely more stylish. Definitely the route to take. Now, many fear the cost when they think about getting a bit smarter. You think to yourself, oh God, these items, tweed, this looks expensive. I see them in shop windows in gentlemen's outfitters, and they seem to cost a fortune. Well, you might think that, but when you look at those street clothes, those training shoes, which cost, £300 or $400 a pair, or the branded sweatshirts or the little jogging outfits made by high-end companies, which cost hundreds and hundreds of dollars, which in essence manufacturing cost was just a few dollars. The markup is phenomenal for what you're actually purchasing. When you're buying into quality menswear, you can see the quality of what you're buying. We've talked about shoes, Goodyear welted shoes. They're made by experts in factories where people have been making those shoes for hundreds of years in some cases, and they're made of the very highest quality material. If you were to spend £500 on a pair of shoes, they would probably last you for 20 years, and they would look fantastic during those decades. You spend £500 on trainers, in 12 to 24 months they'll be in a landfill site rotting. If they even rot at all, because some of them are made of mostly plastic. So, you've just contributed to the destruction of planet Earth. Whereas investing in better quality items, definitely going to last. Even if we're talking about clothing rather than footwear. Good quality clothing will be manufactured of better materials, probably closer to home. It will be repairable, and it will be adjustable. So as your body changes, as you go through life, if you gain a little weight, lose a little bit of weight, they can be adjusted by the seamstress or the tailor. So when you're thinking about altering your style, yet still remaining in touch with your contemporaries, think of it as a sliding volume scale. You don't have to turn it right up to black tie, all right? You turn it up one increment at a time. And if you find that your associates are dressing a little bit better, turn yourself up one more click. Start wearing a tie if they don't. If you want to set yourself apart by the manner in which you dress, that's the way to do it. Incrementally, it's covert smartness. Okay, Frank, I hope that was of some use. If it was, give it a thumbs up. If you'd like to see more like this, click the subscribe button and come on the journey with us. And if you'd like to support the channel, of course, you could buy us a coffee, and it explains how you can buy me a coffee in the show notes below. So until the next time, take care of yourselves, and I will see you again very soon.